So, Field McConnell, you're chasing a lot of threads on these things. What gives you the right and the standing and the ability to do that? Who are you? Tell us about you.
Well, I'm an American, I'm a Christian, and I'm a member of the military retired. I spent 26 years in the military. I was educated at Annapolis before I went to the Naval Academy, and I thank the taxpayers for that wonderful, well-rounded education. But with that came one of my 4 oaths of office that I took, and that oath of office forced me to swear allegiance to the United States of America, the Constitution, and to protect those things against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that's why I'm here today. We're in Austin, Texas, and unfortunately in Austin, Texas today, there was a event at the University of Texas, and there's way too much violence in our country, and our country, the United States of America, I believe, is exporting way too much violence. And we're doing this all in the name of terrorism, but the terror does not come from our paper enemies. The terror comes from those who are trying to control us, I believe. And I don't mean just in America. I mean around the globe. The people that are put in power, good example, Iran. Iran tells their people, America wants to kill you. That's not true. Do you want to hurt any Iranians?
No.
I don't. I've flown over Iranian airspace ad nauseum. They're very well-educated and civilized people. I also want to note that it's a nation that many people in America might think is Muslim, which is not true. But I've also been to Muslim nations such as the United Arab Emirates. I had a Muslim fellow with a razor to my neck because he was shaving me, because he gave me a haircut and he didn't think I looked good, so he insisted on shaving me. Before he did that, we established that he was a Muslim and I was a Christian, and we both agreed that's no big deal. So the enemies of America are within America typically, and those foreign enemies we have are a very small group that's been around since 1833. But another reason why I'm interested in this is my own parents were in World War II, and they're both buried at Arlington National Cemetery. My father spent 30 years in the Air Force. My mother was an Army nurse who nursed him back to health after the Japanese, who were his host for 20 months, from April of 1944 to August of 1945. They gave him very malnutrition. They dropped a 200-pounder to 115 pounds, and he came back sort of in poor condition. And my mother was a registered nurse in the Army, and she nursed him back to health, and he served his nation from 45 until 71. And then because that was the family business, I wasn't pushed by my parents. I was drawn to military service because I thought that the military of the United States of America served the interest of the United States of America, and I believe that 99.9% of the people who've ever served in the U.S. military also believe that. The older I get, the more I research, the less I believe that myself, and I believe that our military has been deployed and is currently deployed for the benefit of powers other than the United States of America, the United States Constitution, and the United States citizenry.
I believe you've had some pilot background too, don't you?
Yes, and once again, that's no big deal in my mind. In fact, I'm glad to be retired from flying for some things we'll probably get into. But I grew up in an Air Force family where my father was a Strategic Air Command bomber pilot, and I was blessed to go to Annapolis. And when I went to Annapolis, I selected the Marine Corps instead of the Navy. And of course, the old cliche is the bottom of the class goes to the Marine Corps. That's the opposite case. The bottom of the class can never get into the Marine Corps. There are exceptions, but generally, if you're at the bottom of a Naval Academy class, such as John McCain alleges he was, which he was not, you can't get into the Marine Corps. So it's not a matter of Marines being less intelligent than Navy or Army or Air Force guys. I would say they're more committed. And you're talking to a Marine who's very committed. And my oath never ran out. I never abandoned my oath. And my college classmate, Chic Burlingame, has been framed as being the pilot that was the aircraft commander or the captain of American 77, which allegedly hit the Pentagon. I'm here to tell the world that my college classmate, Chic Burlingame from the U.S. Naval Academy class of 1971, did not hit the Pentagon.
Good. We'll go on to another subject.
Okay.
Don't know what that'll be yet. Shall I just go on again? And
let me help you out.
Very
because
good.
In addition to the military flying I've done, I flew 32 years for the airlines. And this is significant because the reason I'm here, and I did not come here on my own volition necessarily. I was invited to Austin, and there's lots of things about Austin that make it worthy of my traveling. First of all, I was born in Texas, in Fort Worth, and this cliche that people have tried to humiliate President Bush with, where he is characterized as saying, don't mess with Texas. Well, actually, I would tell people not to mess with Texas, and furthermore, don't mess with the United States of America. But conversely, I do not believe the United States of America should be messing with anybody else. We should have the biggest defense in the world, and we should be exporting the truth and exporting food. And it's my belief personally that we should be exporting Christianity, but that's just my personal belief, and I don't think that needs to be a national interest. If we take care of people, they can believe what they wish. But we have abundant food, we have abundant labor, and until about sometime roughly 30 years ago, we had the biggest industrial capacity of any nation in the world, and that's under attack by the same people who attacked Gareth Williams, the same people who attacked America on 9/11, and the same people and the same networks, the same motive as the people that took a little girl named Madeleine McCann. And we'll be at Brave New Books in Austin tomorrow night. That's 1904 Guadalupe Street, 7 to 9 p.m., and we're going to be down there to make sure that the world does not forget about this little girl, Madeleine. Anybody who's ever been a child, and that's 100% of us, anybody who's ever had children, and that's most of us, or anybody who's ever had grandchildren, and that's once again many of us, we know that the last thing we'd ever want to do is to lose a child to somebody who, with discretion and great technological assets, intend to do them harm. That's why I'm here, Doctor.
Right, right. Well, let's go a little bit that direction. For example, you've talked about the human trafficking. That's a part of this group, and we're talking about, as you've been pretty specific, the Crown Agents, originally formed in 1833 to protect the assets and the royalty and the royal family. But now they've gone rogue, they've gone self-interested, and it seems to me like everybody is their enemy. How does the human trafficking fit into their plans, their modus operandi, and the history as you've uncovered it?
They provide pleasure for dollars, and they do it on a global scale, and they have the ability technology-wise to take custom orders. In other words, if a child is identified as desirable to anybody, anywhere in the world, if they can get a digital ID on that child, and that could be a passport, an RFID, an address, a location and a time, a photo, if they can identify one of their targets, there's people out there who will go out and collect that target. And the perfect example is this young girl from England whose name is Madeleine McCann, and her picture is up at the www.abledanger.net website, and her picture will be all over the Brave New Bookstore. She's just one of many children, and she's special to us because she's a child, not because she's Madeleine McCann. But she's a Brit who was taken while her parents were on holiday in Portugal, and she was taken by whoever took her, and we don't know who took her. We know the network that allowed her to be taken. And once again, it's the Crown Agents, and it's the technology that a MI6 very advanced mathematician, brilliant man, 31 years old, Gareth Williams, regardless of what he was tracking, he broke the code because of his mathematical and algorithmic skills. He could break complex codes fairly quickly, and he broke the code on the human trafficking as it does exist today, this very day on September 26th of 2010. That network is out there. They're still busily trying to do two things: snatch more kids and cover their tracks. And I'm looking at a tripod camera right now, and I anticipate that we will kick one leg out of that tripod camera and bring this network to their knees.
Good.
When I say we, I don't mean me and you, and I don't mean me and the people in this room. I mean the American people, the global commoners, anyone who loves children, anyone who serves a higher power than man or money. That's who the we is. And our group at Able Danger started out with a very small group of people. Over the last 2 to 3 years, due to the benevolence and the courage of certain entities, including Rumor Mill News Radio and Jack Stockwell's show in Salt Lake City, and you and the two people over there, and Brave New Books, and the Austin channel last night that we recorded at. I think the global commoners have drawn a line in the sand and said enough is enough when it comes to taking children for pleasure and money. And I know I speak with great confidence that God thinks this has gone on way too long, and I think he's revealing his hand here at the 11th hour. And I would not want to be on the other side of this camera right now if I were anyone associated with the Crown agencies. Excuse me, I misspoke. The Crown agents.
Well, thank you, Field. That's quite enlightening. It's quite exciting, and I'm eager to talk about more. We'll do it in subsequent episodes.
Okay, that sounds great, Doctor.
If you liked this video, we have hundreds of more alternative videos ranging from sexual health to psychology to mind control. So if you liked it, go ahead and click on me to enter the Psyche Truth channel.